Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to the very next episode of The Remedy with Tova Sido and
Janice Gaunt and
Tom Bridwell.
Yay. Hi, Tom. I haven't seen you in a while.
That was a very enthusiastic hello, Tom.
We've been wearing these clothes 3 weeks in a row. What the hell?
Do you think it's time for me to bathe? Let me take off my baseball cap and you can see my surgery hairdo.
We didn't want to say anything, Janice, but
It's kind of stanky.
you could never be stinky.
Oh, I think I probably could be. Stanky pot.
All right, we got to thank our sponsor today. Same sponsors last week, Matt and Aaron Rigg from Dripping Springs, Texas.
That's so nice. Do you know them?
I do know them and I love them.
Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah, they're a very precious, hilarious, hardworking. He's a home builder down there. He builds beautiful homes if you need a home in Dripping Springs. And they're just a lovely, fun, adorable couple.
That's so nice. Thank you all so much for contributing.
Yes. And they love The Remedy.
Good.
Yeah. Erin listens to it religiously out on our walks. And I think that when she hears something that she thinks Matt needs to listen to, she's like, sticks it in his face.
I like that.
You need to listen to The Remedy.
We should do an episode on what we need men to know.
I think we have done that, but I think it's
time to do
what
again.
Every woman wishes men would know. Man, I would love an episode about that. Craig, did you listen this week?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'd be like, yeah, and it's time for you to do one the next week on what men wish women knew.
Yeah, that's
Tom,
right.
you could help us with that.
Yeah.
Gladly.
Okay, so today, speaking of relationships, we are talking about breaking up.
Oh.
So sad.
So sad.
You even hear that and you can
my tummy hurts.
I mean, can't you just go back
I
to
feel
those...
like crawling up in the bed in a circle. Me and Buddy.
Totally.
Oh, gosh. It is terrible. You know, that's one of the great things about being married is I don't have to date.
Yeah.
You
and
know?
you don't have to break up.
And I don't have to break up. And I won't break up unless Tom acts the fool. And then I would break up with you.
He's never going to act a fool. And neither are you.
No.
So, but yeah, how amazing that you can just take that out of the equation. I mean, I think to your point, I think a lot of people stay in places way longer than they should because breaking up is so hard to do.
Let's write a song about that.
I think somebody already did.
Oh, shoot.
I know.
You know, it's so true because I can think back on my very first breakup. I was in high school. And a guy cheated on me that we were going steady with.
Gosh.
That I was going steady with. And I mean, I can remember that pain. I can probably shut my eyes and feel it all over again, and I might cry even. It's awful. Even if you know that it's better, you know, but it is awful. And then after I got my divorce, then there were a couple of guys that I dated, and I thought that they really had the potential of being maybe somebody that I would end up with, and one of them broke up with me, and which was just ridiculous because
you're Janice.
Because he lived in a little town in West Texas and he was not nearly enough for me. But he broke up with me anyway.
I know. Wait a minute. Well, you're going to break up with me?
Yeah, no. Wait, no. I'm breaking up with you right now.
Me first. Totally.
And then I dated a guy quite a bit that I had, that we were really good friends in high school. And then he and I, it just didn't work. We were too good of friends. He was my best friend in high school. And, but...
Were you heartbroken over that?
Well, I was sad about that. I really like him a lot. He's a good friend of mine. You actually know him. And it was fun, and it was just such good friendship. And well, he had a jet, and I really liked that a lot. That kept me in there a little bit
too long. You overstayed your welcome on that one. I'm sure you were like, trying to talk yourself into like having the feelings that you know you wanted to have with somebody, but maybe you didn't quite have with him.
Yeah, exactly. But we were really good friends. But it's just breaking up is so difficult.
Yeah, it's really, when you and I were talking earlier about this conversation, I said to you, I've lost children. And I think that the feeling of a breaking up is, and this is going to sound really weird, but when my children died, I know I left nothing on the table.
Yeah.
It was all out of my control.
And you did everything in their little lives that you could possibly do. You left nothing. Stone unturned.
And there was such a pure love, and nobody did anything wrong.
Yeah.
There wasn't hurt involved. And chances are, if you're breaking up, or you have broken up, or you have been broken up with, there's hurt involved.
Yeah.
Somebody
made that decision.
Yes. And that is hurtful.
Oh.
And, right when you were saying that, I've never had anybody break up with me. Like, I have always been the one to break up. And yet, the pain that breaking up has ensued in my body, because I had to break up because somebody was hurting me, and that hurt was real, and so I had to make a decision out of that hurt. And that hurt hurts so bad.
It really does.
So even if you make all the choices to break up.
Yeah. It's like in ninth grade, Danny Gregson was my boyfriend, and Billy Lou Kingsbury was one of my best friends, and he broke up with me and went to Billy Lou Kingsbury. Really.
These names.
How could that? I was devastated.
Oh, yes. It's having your heart broken through a breakup is very real.
Yeah.
And so for people who might be thinking, I need to break up, this is not God's best for me. I need to get out of this relationship, but I'm scared about that feeling. And or somebody who's in the midst of a breakup right now, who's just in that terrible, awful feeling. What advice do you give them, Janice, as their counselors? You took me through it. How do you help people get through breaking up?
Well, I love the W squared, T squared. So weep about it, write about it. W squared, T, think about it and talk about it. W squared, T squared. Write about it, weep about it, talk about it, think about it. And so that helps you get those feelings kind of up and out. And honestly and truly, time is the only thing that lessens that. And, what we tend to do when we go through the grief process is, there are these different emotions that we feel, and we have these stages of grief, and we have to allow ourselves to feel those feelings: anger, sadness, joy, denial, all of those things. It's just so, you just can't believe it because that person brought something into your life that was really important at the time. However, having said that, I never regretted breaking up after a while.
Yeah, that's a powerful thing to say.
Never. Never can I think of anybody that I would be like, yeah, I'd rather be with them right now.
I wish that I didn't do that.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a very powerful thing to say.
Because for some reason, if somebody breaks up with you, then for some reason they weren't enough for you.
That's right.
And it's not that you weren't enough for them, because you were in it. You were in it to win it, and you had
showing up and killing it.
Yeah, and then it happened, and you're like, oh, okay, well, that's probably God doing for me what I might not do for myself, because there's something better. Because I love, and I tell people this a lot. I talk about it in my book too. Prince Charming is Dead in Rehab, in case you can't remember the
Best
name of it.
book ever. Get it right now on Amazon.
Amazon, go quick.
Yep.
But so, but it's like it was God doing for me something that I wasn't going to do for myself.
That's powerful.
And then you're like, okay, well, if I can just fake it till I make it, if I can pretend to believe that there's something better, because I don't believe that my God is a God of reduction, and I don't believe that the universe is a universe of reduction. No.
Yep.
I mean, I had to go through... I dated a lot of people before I found the right person for me. And I mean, I was single for 10
years.
10 years.
I mean, I'm engaged, but
how long were you single?
I have been single for 8 years.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Divorced for 8 years. That's a long time.
I know.
And it does take a while. Like, people get really discouraged because their timeline is not the timeline. And but I can't tell you how many people I have counseled. Scarcity does not exist. This world is abundant. Our God is abundant. And if you exist, they exist.
Yeah.
I mean, I say that all the time.
Yeah. Go to North Park.
Yeah.
Walk around and look at all the handsome boys that are there, or men, or, I mean, there are a ton of people, and there are a ton of available people. And people are like, well, I don't know. How do I find them? I don't know. Do a dating app if you want to. Tell people. I can remember.
Say yes.
Yeah.
I say yes.
Yeah, I can
go to parties, go to bars, go.
Yeah, I remember a girl walking up to me in Whole Foods, and she was like, oh, I'm so sorry that I hear you're getting a divorce. And I'm like, yeah, I know. It sucks. And she goes, well, are you dating? And I was like, I felt like kind of like needy to say yes, but I was like, no, but I'm ready to date. So if you know anybody, let me know. And then
I said that. You taught me to say that.
Yeah.
And people did know people.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, I do know somebody. And I got set up all the time.
You did. I mean, there were a lot of guys that wanted to have a little Tova. But I mean, it is just, but the breaking up part is just painful. And it's hard to watch people that you love go through it.
It is hard.
Because we all know that feeling.
So something that I remember you telling me, Janice, that I found so profound in my mental game when I was dealing with my divorce, which is a massive breakup.
Yes.
I mean, it is what it is.
The biggest.
It's a breakup. And it has helped me subsequently in my dating world. Is I went to you one afternoon, and I sat down in the chair, and you were like, how are you doing? And I was like, I'm just so sad. And you were like, why are you sad? And I said, I just miss him so much. And you were like, okay, what do you miss? And I said, probably something like, I miss the companionship. I miss family dinners. I miss having a wingman. I probably said I miss being sexual and physical with somebody. I miss. And you know what you said to me?
What?
Fake. And I was like, ouch. I remember it like it was yesterday. And I have used that example so many times in my counseling because I was like, what are you talking about? You were like, it was all fake, Tova. Like that.
Yeah, he broke your heart.
That he was cheating on you. Like,
Yeah.
it was fake. Those family dinners were fake. Like those date nights were fake. Your wingman, fake. Fake. And it was all a fantasy.
Yeah, it was.
My relationship as I knew it and the things that I miss weren't actually happening.
Yeah, exactly.
And so that every time from that moment on that I begin to mourn the loss of what I perceived as my relationship, I had a reality check.
It really does. It makes a
helped me
difference.
so
you know,
much.
I can remember and I might have done this with you too. So sometimes what I would do is I'd say, okay, I want you to tell me everything you want in a guy, the guy of your dreams. Let's say it's a woman. And they would say, honesty, availability, has plenty of money, has kids or doesn't have kids. I mean, and they would come up with
Makes me his priority.
Faithful, all
Handsome.
that stuff. And so then I'd be like, okay, and this is somebody who had dumped this woman, so I'm like, okay, so if you had a magic wand and I could create the man of your dream, let's write out these characteristics. And then I'd go back and then I'd say, okay, so Harry, the one that just dumped you. Okay, was he honest? No. Was he kind? No.
Not
Was
really.
he? So we'd go through.
Was he faithful? Sort of. What does that even mean?
Yeah. Does he have a job? Not really. And then I'd put that. So then I'd go all the way through that list. And then by the end of it, I'm like, okay, you had 30 things on this list. And
He met 3.
And he had 10 of them. That you would not go buy a handbag.
That's right.
That only had 10% or
Louis
30%.
Vuitton.
Or a car. You wouldn't drive a car that has no windshield wipers or no headlights. So why on earth are you sad about not being with this Yahoo? Because he had 50% of what you wanted. That's not enough.
Yeah. That's a great way to
and
say
that
it.
really helps people realize, okay, yeah, there were some good things and there were some fun things and all of that, but let's look at what you didn't get in there. Because if
really
this
good.
guy left, then yeah, maybe he doesn't have the power to stay in a relationship.
Yeah.
Maybe he fools around. I don't know. But you look at it from that perspective and it makes a big difference, and it makes that.
Well, it's a big reality check.
Yeah, and you're grateful for the breakup because you're like, oh my gosh.
Don't you think that so often if somebody breaks up with you, that half of the feeling, half of the sorrow and the shock and the pain has to be, wait, you broke up with me? Don't you think so much of it is like not so much about the relationship, but like, wait, I wasn't good enough, and I'm putting that in quotes.
Yeah.
For you that you broke up with. I think that if somebody did that to me, it might be 80% my ego.
Yeah.
And 20% like, okay, I can get through this. This is a better thing. Like if this wasn't the right thing for him, then it wasn't the right thing for me.
Right.
And moving on.
Well, and if you make that list, then you are thinking, okay, well, why am I upset about this not working for me? Because it only had 30% of what I really wanted. You don't go to the drugstore and buy something for
you don't
less
go to a
than-
restaurant and get 30% of a meal.
No, or a dress or any of that. So why would you settle for that? So then it shifts that perspective, and then you're like, oh, that dude, he's going to be missing me because I brought a lot more to that table for him that he actually brought to me.
That's a great perspective.
It helps a lot.
Yeah. So how do you get out of that ego mind when like, say I got dumped? I mean, if Craig dumped me today, I would be devastated for a lot of reasons. But I know part of it would be my ego.
If he dumped you, could I have your ring?
Nope. And neither could he.
I'm sitting here looking at it, and it's so pretty.
It is so pretty.
It is so pretty.
I love my ring. But I mean, I would be devastated because I love him.
Yeah.
But I would also be I wouldn't know where the loss of him would begin and the loss of Tova's ego. You know, I wouldn't know how to make sense of the pain.
Well, I think...
So how do you keep that in check?
I think that the pain is busting up of the fantasy. You know, because the reality of it, if he breaks up with you, he wasn't right for you.
Right.
So I think that you know, we think that it's that maybe you're too much for him, or maybe you are, you know, you may think about, you know, well, if you put that list of all those things that you want and you look back at it and think, okay, am I in the relationship, was I all these things?
Sure.
And if you were like 90% and that person is like 40%, then you're like, oh, man, I was dumbing down. I don't want to dumb down, you know? So I think that it is okay for people to really think, yeah, I think that this maybe, and I used to kind of fool myself into, and I would say it's not that I was not enough for him. It was that I was just too much.
Clearly.
But, you know, you have to do some of those mind things to yourself because it's hard. It's really hard. I
think your point about trusting time through it all is really important, because when you are in the thick of it, it's so hard to believe that you're ever going to get out of it. But
and you will.
Yes, you will, and you do. And everybody who's been through it does.
Yes, and make sure that you're reaching out to people and saying, you know, hey, Tova, can I talk to you for 10 minutes?
Yeah.
I'm just feeling so lonely and all of that. And girlfriends are so great with that, because then they can be like, oh, that Yahoo, he didn't know what he was doing. He'll be knocking on your door, you know. So, but it's hard. So you just have to grieve it. You've got to go through that process of having all those feelings, and it stinks.
Yeah.
It really does.
It really does stink. And there's really nothing you can do to feel better.
Time.
Yeah. It's just time. But I do...
Chocolate chip cookies.
Yeah.
That helps a little.
I love your encouragement to feel it. But I also would say, fake it till you make it. You know, get out of bed, get dressed. If you're feeling like you don't feel like doing those things, you know, like call a friend, call your therapist, like get help, you know, but just, I think those little things are the things that help you get out of it sooner than later.
Yeah, I think so too. And I know that we have all been broken up with people and have all been broken up with. And I just reminding yourself, if you think about the people that you no longer have in your life, that ended in a breakup, either you or them, and you're not missing them. I don't miss any of those people ever. You know, I wish them the best, but I don't
either.
And so you will get there.
Yeah. And if somebody had told me that I would get to that place with like Topher, who I was married to and was my love for so, I don't know that I would have ever believed that. Like,
I know
I'll get to the point where I will be totally over it. And I am totally over it.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
Totally over it.
It's great.
Yes. But I think that that's such a profound thing to say. And it really is just time.
My sweet mother, this too shall pass. She said it 1,000,000 times.
That's just such a perfect mom thing to say.
Isn't it?
Yes. Yes. That's just the perfect mom thing to say.
I know.
Well, if you're in the thick of it, call your friends.
Yeah.
Get up.
Call your mama.
Call your mama.
Call your dad.
Call me or Janice.
Call your dad, because your dad will really rip that person
yeah,
up.
totally. If you're a little girl and somebody
Yeah.
broke your heart,
Yeah, your
dad's got your back.
for sure.
What a loser. We never liked him anyway. Well, we hope this is helpful. Hope y'all have an amazing week. And thanks so much for listening.
Thanks for listening.